Our agenda for today, we have two main categories. So the first category is we want to talk about prizes that are available for excellent teaching practice. So we're talking about things that cash prizes actually, and that are there to award and recognise people who are doing an excellent job of teaching already. The second type of thing that we'd like to talk about are opportunities for study. And so any if there is any interest amongst teachers in studying further about their professional practice, there are ways to support that. In fact, there are schemes that will pay you to study and give you time off to study and so on and so forth. So we wanted to talk about a range of different opportunities. So I'll start by talking first about the prizes for excellent teaching practice. And the first one is something called the Kalman Teacher Prize. So John Kalman was a head of department of the Department of Mathematics. And as part of his legacy, he and his wife, Margaret, have set up a charitable trust where they're trying to promote mathematics in society in New Zealand. And one of the things that they've done is to set up a Teacher Excellence Prize that awards teachers for their fantastic practice. Up until last year, this prize was mostly focused to secondary school teachers. There were some primary school prizes, but they only started I think, in the last year or two. And it was also focused on the Auckland region. But now these Teacher Excellence Prizes are nationwide. So the first thing to note is that anybody can apply as long as you're a primary, intermediate, or secondary school teacher of mathematics and statistics in New Zealand. So what do you get? Well, $5,000. And there are at least 6 cash prizes available of $5,000 each. So the applicant, normally when you think about cash prizes, you think, oh, how much of that has to go to the school? How much of that do I have to spend on my teaching resource and so forth? The answer is none. This is a cash bank transfer that will go directly into the awardee's bank account for them to use however they want. So if they want to supplement the cost of living or pay off a mortgage or use it to go travel somewhere, that's completely up to their discretion. The purpose of this prize is just to acknowledge the amazing stuff that teachers have already been doing. So that's one benefit that I really wanted to highlight. I want to say, please really consider applying yourself. The trouble with having the irony, I guess, of being promoting these Teacher Excellence Prizes is that we know that there's great practice out there, but teachers are probably the most humble people when it comes to putting themselves forward or applying for something that recognizes what they're doing. And we really want to challenge you to put yourselves out there, to change the narrative, really. We're kind of sick of this depressing narrative about how dire mathematics education is in New Zealand, and we want to showcase that there are actually examples of excellent teaching out there. So please consider applying yourself or encourage others to apply. So you may know people who you think, oh, they should really be awarded for what they're doing. You can apply as a team or a pair or as an individual, but the prize itself is $5,000. And if you apply as more than one person, that will just be distributed amongst the team. There's no extra for applying for a team. The applications are due on September the 1st, 2023. And for more information, to download the application form, you can scan the QR code here. I do just want to point out, however, that what's up there currently is slightly out of date. So when I did advertise these Teacher Excellence Prizes at the beginning of the year at the Primary Maths Association conference, and at that time, they were only $2,500 for primary school teachers. But I went back to the trustees and I said, look, I don't think there should be a discrepancy, a difference between the award for primary school teachers and secondary school teachers. I think that's that's prejudiced. And they said, we agree completely. And they said, let's increase the amount so it's exactly the same. So there's parity. So now all the prizes are $5,000 each. And that will be updated hopefully on Monday morning. Okay, so another thing I wanted to say is if you have any questions about this, or if there's more information that you'd like to ask, please do ask it now. We'll also have some time at the end to answer questions if you want to wait until then. In addition to the Kalman Teacher Excellence Prizes, which are $5,000, there is, and I wanted to announce this, I don't personally, Ofer and I don't have anything to do with these ones. These are national prizes. They're called the Prime Minister's Science Teacher Prize. And there is only one of these each year, and its complete value is $150,000. Now the recipient will receive $50,000. And again, there's no expectations on how that money needs to be spent, but $100,000 will go to the recipient's school or kura. And there are some expectations for how that needs to be spent. So I just wanted to highlight that this is also available. It's another cash prize for excellent teaching. One of our previous awardees, Michelle Dalrymple, was a maths and stats teacher. So it does go to, it does happen, it does get awarded. Please put yourself forward for these prizes, or encourage others to put themselves forward. All right, so we've talked about 2 prizes. I know that there are some others, but these were just some that we wanted to highlight because there is a cash component to them. We now wanted to talk about study opportunities. So I know some people would be interested in studying, and how can they support that? That's always a big question. How can I support my study when I need to work full-time, or I need to work part-time, and to continue to pay for my cost of living? So again, the Kalman Foundation has come to the party to create a fellowship. Now, this is called the Kalman Teacher Fellowship. It's different from the Kalman Teacher Prize. The fellowship is there to support mathematics and statistics teachers to study their practice and to share their practice. Okay, so it's open again to primary, intermediate, or secondary school teachers of mathematics and statistics, but in this case, it's only in the Auckland area. And the reason why is because the prize is connected to the University of Auckland. So the study needs to happen in mathematics and statistics education at the University of Auckland. There are 5 fellowships, and each of them are worth $5,000 each. And how that money is spent, well, first of all, $2,500 goes directly to the fellow as an honorarium. Again, you can spend that how you want. If you want to spend that to support your course fees, or no, it's not support your course, support your study in some way to gain buyout from teaching, you can negotiate that with your school at your leisure. Or if you just want to put that into the bank and use it for savings, that's completely fine as well. Up to $2,400 will go towards fees payment. So your fees will, up to $204,000 will be paid for if you enroll in 1 to 2 postgraduate courses in mathematics or statistics. Sorry, it should be mathematics and statistics education at the University of Auckland next year. So there are 5 of these fellowships available. The last part is there is a $100 administration cost. So we need to do that just to make sure that we have things like catering and that available for the fellowship meetings. So the applications for these fellowships is due in November the 1st, 2023. And if you have any questions about this, or if you'd like us to send you the application form or any more information, please just inquire to us directly. Ofer, would you mind just putting into the chat our addresses?
Yeah, let me see that.
Just in case people wanted to do that. Okay, so now we've, oh, there's the question. The question is, if I've already done a scholarship program for specializing in teaching maths and stats, Am I still eligible to study? And is this study different from the former one? Yes, you are eligible for study as long as you haven't received this particular scholarship, this particular fellowship, you are still eligible for study. And it would be a different type of, the commitment for, sorry, I'll just move back to, I'll just move back. The commitment here is just that you enroll in 1 to 2 postgraduate courses in mathematics education. And we will give you more detail about the specific courses that are available. In fact, Ofer will talk about that next. If you want to then convert that into a master's, you can. And there are ways to do that. But if you think, oh, I just want to try out 1 course, or, you know what, I just like to try out 2 courses this year. It's a low commitment thing that you get fully supported to do. So you don't have to pay for fees, and you get $2,500 cash in pocket to do that. So it doesn't matter if you've already got a master's or if you've already had a study award in some other way. This is just to study 1 to 2 postgraduate courses. The idea is that if we can support maths and stats teachers to study, then we can hopefully also encourage them to share their practice. So we would love for these courses that we teach, they all have some kind of practical component, and they all have some kind of presentation component as well. I know Robin would love if the teachers who took these courses and had these fellowships would then present at AMA online the subsequent years with some of the stuff that they'd be doing already for their coursework.
Yeah, I came to the last Kalman presentation, was it? At the university, and the 5 people, what they did was just blew me away. And we have had 2 of them present at AMA events, so it's awesome. Yeah,
fantastic. At this point, I'd like to hand over to Ofer, who will tell us a little bit about some of the courses that would be eligible for this Kalman Prize. Sorry, not the prize, Kalman Teacher Fellowship.
So kia ora again. So first, if Caroline talked before about teachers being humble, again, please, we encourage you all to apply for the Kalman Fellowship. And again, as Caroline said, you'll get money both to your pocket and money to be able to cover your fees from 1 to 2 courses in the university. So just to try to entice you a bit, which courses do we offer at the University of Auckland? This is just a partial list, but I'll share with you some information about courses that we've been giving in recent years. And in the next slides, I'll also share the courses that we offer in 2024 specifically. And we usually do some rotation basis. So each year we try to have different courses. So teachers who continue to study can have different courses that they can take afterwards back into their practice. So as you notice here, some of the courses are really practice-based or very much oriented towards specific mathematical content, such as teaching and learning in algebra and topics in statistical education. So the first one here is in mathematics, second statistics, and we have additional courses that's focused on mathematical content and the pedagogy that is involved in teaching these topics. But we have also more overview courses that are very relevant to today's current situation, such as mathematical processes in the curriculum. So if traditionally, for example, often curriculum more focused on mathematical content, in recent years, there's again calls to incorporate mathematical processes in the curriculum, meaning incorporate ways in which people think mathematically or do mathematics and incorporate that as part of what we teach students, not just the mathematical content itself, but also problem solving, modeling, conjecturing, evaluating different things that students or different mathematical skills or practices that anyone who's doing mathematics is doing, but somehow students are often deprived from. This is actually a course I'm teaching at the moment at the university, and it's really wonderful to see that even after 2 lessons that we had so far in the semester, already teachers take back what they took. They tell me, share with me that they take back what they took from the course and bring it to discussions back into their classroom and with other schools, principals, and teachers. We also have a course about affect and aesthetics in mathematics education, talking about emotions and how emotions play a role in mathematics learning. And also more general courses that introduce research in mathematics education and its relevance to teaching practices. So maybe I think at this point, Caroline, we can move to the next slide and I can share a bit the courses we have in 2024. So in 2024, we have 3 courses on offer. In semester 1, we have a course taught by Dr. Lisa Dara. And again, if you'd like to contact her, you have the email there. I see, by the way, there's some questions in the chat. Are all these courses semester duration? Yes, all of them are through each one of these courses are entire semester. We have in semester 1, semester 2, and also in the summer semester, which I'll be talking later. So Lisa's course, Leading Mathematics Curriculum and Change. This is really a course that it's a great choice if you're looking to explore some of the research in mathematics education and consider problems of practice in your own context. As Lisa writes, you will learn to critique the research and analyze findings to make sense of them in classroom settings. So the idea of the course is to take contemporary issues that can lead to changes in curricula and how we teach mathematics and examine them in context of research, but also in context of your mathematical practices of how you teach. I know the course I've spoken with Lisa, and I know the course is very much led by the participants themselves, meaning the issues or topics that interest you as a teacher will be brought into the classroom. So I've spoken with Lisa, and she shared with me some topics that were discussed in previous years. So for example, first of all, how to design curricula, I think as the name of the course suggests, is one of the topics, but also issues of assessment or grouping for learning, which is, I think, often a hot topic, as well as equity issues, technology, which becomes more and more relevant nowadays, issues of mathematical identity, emotion, language in the classroom, and more. So all these things that influence how we design curricula, both in terms of content and how we teach, are things that appear in Lisa's course. The questions, are available distance learning? I think I'll keep that for later, if that's okay. So I'll talk first about the content and later about how we offer them.
Can I just jump in
yes,
with Lisa's course, however? She did say that her particular course is going to be a hybrid mode. So there will be some full days that will be held on a Saturday or during the school holidays. And then there will be asynchronous lectures as well. And I think she was talking about 3 full days and 4 asynchronous lectures. The asynchronous lectures would be during school time, the school term.
And we had a question about if this course is only semester 1. So yes, this course is in semester 1, but each semester we have a different course, all of them with wonderful lectures, which I can highly recommend. And the next one is Caroline, who's sitting here.
Shall I talk about this one?
Yeah, that'll be wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. So this course is about contemporary issues, but in this particular course, we're going to be focusing on things like emotions and aesthetics. So the role of affect. So do you think about mathematics teaching and learning being pleasurable, or do you think about it as being painful, scary, like exciting? We're interested in investigating the range of emotions and values and beliefs and motivations that we bring to our mathematics teaching and learning. And then the second question that we've been looking at is this notion of mathematics as beautiful or aesthetically pleasing in some way. And it's really linked, isn't it, to our emotional our states as well. So can we appreciate mathematics as an elegant thing? Or are we sometimes even motivated by seeing mathematics as sometimes ugly, seeing some approaches as clunky, clumsy, and other approaches as efficient and simple? And so we actually have all these words that we probably use unconsciously. Sometimes we use them in our day-to-day language. But this is really giving us an opportunity to stop and examine how can we be reflective about the kinds of values that we associate with teaching mathematics. Ofer, shall I pass on to you?
Yes. Wonderful.
Okay.
And then the last course, The last course, the funny thing, we put it in the end because it's a semester, is a shorter semester, but it actually happens earlier than the other two. So this course already happened in January 2024. The course is called What Can Be More Practical Than Good Theory? And if you notice, all these courses have some aspect of dialogue between what research in mathematics education is doing and how that is relevant or could be relevant to teachers' practice. So Dr. Igor Kontorovic's course, Igor would like to challenge teachers for the assumptions they make for the classrooms about teachers often have a really good idea about how students think or learn. And Igor's course would like to have an opportunity to examine, analyze, and challenge these assumptions by checking what research has to say about that. And the idea again here is not to dismiss any of the teachers' experiences, which are wonderful, but rather build on them. So the course is highly interactive, collaborative, takes experiences of teachers from the classroom and brings them and connects them into the research. This is a shorter course. It will be 8 meetings all in January and a self-study period in February. And as far as I remember, I think there are also online options for this course, and I'll talk about this later as well. So this one is January 2024, to the question that appeared on the chat. This will be this January 2024. This is the shorter course. Then there will be semester 1 2024, which we talked with Lisa's course, and then semester 2 around July 2024 with Caroline. So I think these are the courses that we're presenting. And just to give you a bit of a taste, because each course we like to have students explore topics and issues, students in this case or teachers, that interest them. So each course often typically also involves a certain project the teachers are involved with, where they explore a topic, present it to the classroom, and often also write a final essay at the end. And I thought of giving you a bit of a taste of different projects that teachers decide to engage in these courses. And these are really varied, as you can see, and really come from the teachers themselves. So for example, one student in a course discussed the topic of reducing mathematics anxiety in school teachers. We often talk about anxiety in the case or in the context of our students, but also teachers, we all might sometimes feel some mathematics anxiety, either about learning a new mathematical topic that we might be more timid of, or even about how to teach mathematics. So this project discussed this issue of mathematics anxiety and how to improve that or how to cope with it. Another student talked about or had her project about mathematical modeling in the classroom. How to take phenomena from real life, model them mathematically, and then use the mathematical results to explain, describe, and even make predictions back to reality, which is a way that you can motivate students in the classroom. Another teacher explored advantages and disadvantages of visualizing mathematics, which I thought was really thought-provoking, because we often just think about the advantages of using visualizations in mathematics classroom. But this was really try to see that each pedagogical approach will often have its pluses and minuses, and how there are also some disadvantages to visualizing mathematics, such as sometimes visuals can be misleading, or sometimes visuals can prevent students from trying to deal with algebraic symbols. How can teachers begin to foster more communication in the mathematics classroom? Or rethinking frustration in mathematical problem solving, which was also, I thought, a really thought-provoking one. Often frustration we treat it as a negative emotion, where we're trying as teachers to avoid, we don't want students to feel uncomfortable or negative emotions during mathematical problem solving. But frustration can also be a wonderful step in the mathematical problem solving. Of course, it depends on where you lead it in the end. Often students who experience frustration during mathematical problem solving, but manage to solve the problem, are way happier and feel more confidence and pride in themselves, compared to if it just goes easily. And I think you can look at other topics here. What does it mean to have something as mathematically beautiful in the classroom, or semiotic representations? And if you don't know what it is, then the teacher, actually that was her topic. What is it? And why should you as a teacher care? So
can I just add that they do refer to kind of the signs that we use, the systems of signs and symbols that we use to express mathematics.
Yeah, so for example, fractions is a wonderful illustration of that, how you can represent fractions, both algebraically in many different ways, such as 1/2 or 0.5, but also visual in many ways, the representation of what it means to be half. So that's, for example, an example from primary school of how different semiotic representation can play a role in teaching. So as Caroline said before, you can take these courses individually, just 1 to 2 courses, either just as part of the Common Fellowship, hopefully, but also regardless of the Common Fellowship, you can enroll and take 1 to 2 courses. And that's really low stakes. But if you're interested to study more, you can also take these courses as part of a Master of Professional Studies in Mathematics Education. I'm the coordinator of the program currently, so if you'd like, just please pop me an email and I'll be very happy to meet with you either in person or on Zoom to discuss this further. So the idea that the Master of Professional Studies was really a program that was born to accommodate and it was intended for practicing mathematics and statistics teachers who want to improve their teaching, explore innovations in education research, examine multiple perspectives on teaching and learning, and enhance and develop their own teaching. And I know it can often be scary as a teacher to go back into the classroom and study, but I've been doing this role now for several years, and I can really see that students who complete the program at the end talk about how much the program helped them develop their teaching, how much they felt they grew during the program. And often they also take new roles as a result. I see that the question here, is the program only for secondary teachers? So no, the program is for any teacher. We're really happy to have a mix of teachers. And I find often that actually when we have primary, intermediate, and secondary teachers in the classroom, the discussion actually becomes very interesting and deep, with people being able to share different perspectives. I see also a question about face-to-face sessions and evening and weekends. So let me give a bit more details about the program. So first of all, the program, if you can see there on the right, the program details. If you decide to take it full-time, it takes 1 year. But the reality is, I think that most of the teachers in the program decide to take it part-time, and usually in a pace of 1 course per semester, and that's completely okay. And then the range that it takes them is between 2 years and 3.5, depends on the pace. So the idea is really a course or a program that accommodates teachers' working hours. So the courses are usually once a week in the afternoon. I think typically either on Tuesday or Wednesday. It slightly changes, but it's always from 4 to 7 in the afternoon. The program requires both some 4 to 5 courses and a dissertation that I'll talk about in 2 minutes. If you come to campus, there is free prep. We do offer vouchers so you can park for free at the city campus. But we are aware that, especially since COVID, that people start to get used to the idea of online. And we are aware also that teachers work hard, often till late hours, often have also children at home. So we're trying to be, in recent years, we're trying to be accommodating and try to give also online options for our courses. So I can share that in recent years, all our courses were either fully online, especially during COVID times, but also in the last year or two, we were trying to offer our courses in hybrid mode, where some teachers prefer to be in person and some teachers prefer to be on Zoom. And we have joint discussion and it works wonderfully. And I can even share that we have now actually one of the teachers in the program is finishing her degree right now, and she did all her courses online. So if that is something that interests you, please write me an email. And I think it's better to talk about it case by case. Write me an email, I'll schedule a meeting with you, and we'll talk about your specific situation. Caroline, maybe we can do the next slide, about just to give you a bit of an idea of the student dissertation topics. So after taking 4 to 5 courses that are needed for the program, and these are the courses that we talked about earlier, students have 2 semesters of working with one supervisor who guides them throughout the process, where they do this small-scale research project, often involving things that interest them, and I would actually not say often involving, always involving things that interest them and related to their classrooms. And I know also from schools that this is something that they bring back to their schools, and schools are extremely interested in the results of these studies. So I can give you some examples just as a taste of student dissertation topics. So we had, with the topic of technology, we had one teacher having a dissertation about how can secondary mathematics teachers use digital tools in virtual and physical classrooms. Caroline, you were the supervisor in this case, right?
That's right, yes. And so this is very apt because it actually, the student was conducting the study in 2020. So it was exactly when COVID happened, and he pivoted and he said, you know, I want to study what's actually going on in my school. And he was the head of department at that time and having to make decisions about how to use digital tools. And sometimes they were in person, sometimes they were online, depending on whether we were in lockdown or not. And so he focused his dissertation on that particular issue.
I can share that I supervised the dissertation on the topic, the second one, mathematics anxiety in high achieving girls in secondary school. I'm very much interested in how emotions play a role in mathematics learning. Mathematics anxiety, often we think about only weak students as related to mathematics anxiety, or students who are struggling. I actually don't like the term weak. I would say students maybe who have more challenges with dealing with mathematics, but also every student might experience mathematics anxiety. In this case, it was girls who participate in mathematics Olympiads and still experience mathematics anxiety. This was the topic there. I also supervised the last topic at the bottom, elementary mathematics teachers' affect and identity from past experiences to future possible selves. And there the idea was how teachers' experiences, both as learners of mathematics themselves and their past teaching experiences, how that shapes their mathematical identity and how they teach in the future, and how it shapes their engagement with students and their beliefs about mathematics. But you can see a range of topics such as effective teaching strategies in the mathematics classrooms, or how are low decile South Auckland schools doing at the Auckland Mathematics competition. So really every topic that interests you could be a topic for dissertation.
Can I just add something here? I just wanted I was thinking about this question about whether this is just for secondary school students. I was just thinking of some of our past PhD students, and two of them were primary school teachers who started off doing this MProf Studs program and examining their practice as primary school teaching practice, and then went on and said, you know, I enjoyed this so much, I actually want to do a PhD in this. And so they're either conducting or have finished their PhD. Okay, Ofer, shall I take over now?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the last thing we wanted to just bring to your attention is that we've been talking mostly about the Kalman Teacher Prizes, the Kalman Teacher Fellowships, and opportunities to study at the University of Auckland, just because that's what we're really familiar with. But we know that there are people, teachers across the motu, who would be interested in studying at different institutions as well, or looking at different sources of funding. And so we wanted to highlight and bring your attention to the Teach NZ Study Awards, the sabbaticals, and the study support grants. Now, these are available to primary school teachers and secondary school teachers. And there are 75 plus 75, so 150. Do I get that right? Yes, 150, 75 primary school study awards and 75 secondary school teacher study awards each year. In terms of sabbaticals, there are 50 plus 50 available each year, so 50 for primary and 50 for secondary school teachers. So there are these things available. Unfortunately, those have closed, but they are available for to do study at any institution, and I think you can even take it overseas. So there is that option. So please do consider applying for that. You can apply for this as well as hold a Kalman Teacher Fellowship. So it is theoretically possible to apply for a Kalman Teacher Fellowship and start your masters, gain some study awards to continue your masters, and theoretically end up being paid to study the whole time. So there is this really great opportunity. There is, however, a secondary, and this one, I, as far as I understand it, is only limited to secondary school teachers. Again, we don't have any say over that. But this one is still open. The application closing date is September of this year. And so that secondary support grant gives a 0.16 buyout. So that works out to be about 4 hours per week, it says down here, depending on how you structure your leave. But you can also apply for a reimbursement of $500 for your course fees. And there are 100 of these available each year. So that's all the information that we wanted to share. We really want to encourage you to apply for these and to tell other people about them. The issue that we find is that often these things are undersubscribed. I had a look on the website and for the Teach NZ scholarships, however, and they said that they are quite competitive because it's not just for mathematics. These are for any subject. And so I think it's much wider, whereas the Kalman Teacher Fellowship and the Kalman Teacher Prizes are much more focused on mathematics teaching practice. And they are often undersubscribed. And our worry is if it looks like teachers aren't interested in getting money for awards for their teaching or being paid to study, then we worry that they might be taken away. These opportunities might be. So please do, if you're even thinking about it, talk to us and put yourself forward, or encourage, bully, threaten a colleague to apply. I think that's the end of what we have to say.